Father used to say, "Oh, man should be strong. Man doesn't cry." Then I saw my father cry when Brazil lost the game. Then I told him, "Father, no, don't worry. I'm gonna win one World Cup for you. Don't worry." I was 9 to 10 years old. Then 8 years late, I was in Sweden with Brazil with 70 years old. The Brazil won the World Cup. This is the Brazilian team who has a 4 World Cup, the only one in the world.
Well, this is a priceless trip.
Everybody knows everything who I get in my life come to the sport, to the football, to the soccer, and now I can give something back to them.
Officially played in Europe is often a source of criticism from modern football pundits. We've heard it before. He played in a farmers' league. That line isn't just false, it's an absolute insult too. Even if we could argue for hours about the level of South American football, or how crucial many South American players are to teams in Europe, football was completely different back then. International transfers weren't the norm. Even more so, when a South American footballer was finally convinced to move abroad, this usually meant being nationalized so they would not count as foreigners. This would then make them eligible for the national team, as was the case for legends like Di Stefano and Puskás in Spain, or Sibéry with Italy. This also means that there was no talent exodus. Only the best of the best played in each continent. Let's imagine that for a moment. A scenario in which intercontinental transfers don't occur. Neymar, Messi, Di Maria, Luis Suarez, all playing in the Copa Libertadores? It would be incredible. So when the Copa Libertadores was played in Pele's time, this was the case. The cup was as hard fought as the European Cup, and Pele Santos ruled the continent. They won 6 Brazilian championships, 10 Paulistas championships, and 2 Copa Libertadores. As they'd already conquered South America, they went and proved themselves to the world. Pele took Santos on tour to win 2 Intercontinental Cups against the AC Milan of Cesar Maldini, Rivera, and Trapattoni, and the Benfica side of Eusebio and Santano. Santos and Pele's fame grew so big, they would extend their international tour and take their footballing show on the road. As everyone wanted to see Pele play, Santos cashed in on the experience. In 1959, the Brazilian team played 99 matches in South and Central America, then moving on to Bulgaria, Belgium, the Netherlands, Italy, Germany, Switzerland, Spain. You name it, they played there. We were in demand, wrote Pele in his autobiography. The suits were very keen to cash in. By 1962, Santos' circus made it all the way to England, the home of the beautiful game. And Pele put on his show to sold-out stadiums across the land. The Guardian's correspondent at the time, Eric Todd, summed up perfectly the admiration commanded by Pele. When one considers the number of superlatives that are squandered on some inside forwards in this country, the futility of trying to find new ones to describe Pele becomes all the more obvious. Once, when playing against Sheffield Wednesday, rival midfielder Tommy Craig spent the final 10 minutes chasing Pele up and down the field. He wasn't trying to get the ball from him. He was trying to get his shirt. I told the referee to give me a signal when he was about to blow for time so I could stand beside the great man. Greg told the Daily Record. When the final whistle came, I grabbed Pele around the waist until he had parted with the jersey. Other footballers were desperate to get a souvenir from him at a time when swapping shirts wasn't a thing. Pele established himself as an international star, a sporting hero that transcended the sport, a man people would pay to see. Pele and Santos' world tour includes a story like no other. The day they stopped a war. Nigeria was in the middle of a violent civil war when Pele landed there to play a friendly against the national team. Both factions agreed to a ceasefire so the match could take place and Nigerians could celebrate in awe of the king of football. His Highness received his title by conquering the world with Brazil, not once or twice, but 3 times. He won the World Cup in 1958 as a teenager and was part of the squad in 1962, though he was injured for most of the tournament. Mexico 1970 would be his last dance, and it would be a fitting farewell for Pele as the Brazilian team would play some of the most wonderful football ever seen. It would also prove to be a seminal moment in football history, as Mexico 1970 was the first World Cup to be broadcasted internationally and in color. Finally, the entire world could see Pele in action. Having done it and won it all, scoring over 1,000 goals, Pele retired. But not for long. As we said, he was a pioneer. He was also the first superstar to take his talent to the USA. It was former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger who convinced him to come out of retirement and join the New York Cosmos. Pele was fundamental in football and becoming relevant in North America. And the story sums up the legend. Pele was a footballer who acted as an ambassador of the game. His Royal Eminence, who would sit at the same table as popes, secretaries of state, and kings. He was friends with Nelson Mandela, and Queen Elizabeth knighted him, even though he's not of British descent. Perhaps his greatest title is the simplest one. Coming from a nation that continues to produce legend after legend, Pele will always be the best Brazilian footballer of all time. And whenever you see a record broken by Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, or in the future by Haaland and Mbappe, it's Pele's initial record they are breaking. We'll finish on some words by the king himself. Like Cristiano Ronaldo said, when Pele talks, the world listens.
I tease the players now. They didn't love the team. They didn't love the game today. They love the money because they go to the Real Madrid or go to Santos or go to Arsenal or go to Manchester. They are presented. They say, I love Manchester. Tomorrow they go to Madrid. They say, I love Madrid. I love Madrid. They love it who pay a little bit more. You know, that is danger for the football.